Hekki Kovalainen is not a very well-known driver nowadays. Despite this, he still had quite an interesting career, one that spanned from the heights of championship winning McLaren to the depths of 12th in the Constructors' Championship caterham. So let's get to his career. Like many other drivers, Kovalainen started in karting, in which he finished runner-up in the Finnish Formula A Kart Championship in 1999 and 2000, and he won the Nordic Karting Championship the same year in 2000. Kovalainen moved to car racing in 2001 in British Formula Renault, following his countryman Kimi Räikkönen, who raced in the championship and won it the year prior. Kovalainen finished 4th in the championship that year, with 2 wins and got Rookie of the Year. With the support of the Renault Driver Academy now behind him, Kovalainen raced in British Formula 3 in 2002, in which he finished 3rd with 5 wins and got Rookie of the Year again. For 2003, Kovalainen raced in the World Series by Nissan, in which he got a season mirroring one later in his career, in which he got 1 win while his teammate won the championship. Next year, in 2004, he stayed in the World Series by Nissan, in which he won the championship with 6 wins, ahead of future F1 driver Thiago Monteiro. For 2005, he moved to a GP3 series, in which he was the strongest driver for the first half of the season, leading the championship, but was beaten to it by resurgent Nico Rosberg, who took the lead and won the championship 15 points ahead of 2nd place Kovalainen. For 2006, Kovalainen had a full-time testing role with Renault, continuing from the previous year, in which he logged tens of thousands of miles. He was then promoted to a race seat for the Renault F1 team in 2007, after the departure of Fernando Alonso. Kovalainen had a disappointing debut at the Australian Grand Prix with a finish of 10th, but scored his first points the next race at Sepang. A mixture of non-points and point finishes followed. He had strong races in Canada, in which he finished 4th, and in the US, in which he finished 5th. A mixture of non-points finishes and point finishes followed, and Kovalainen had his best race ever in Japan, in which he went from being eliminated in Q2 in qualifying to holding off his fellow Finn Kimi Räikkönen to take 2nd place, his first ever podium. He had a non-points 9th place finish in the penultimate race in China and retired from the last race in Brazil, narrowly missing out on the opportunity to be the first driver to finish all races in their rookie season. Kovalainen had a pretty good rookie season, finishing 7th in the championship with 1 podium, albeit not continuing on the championship form that Renault had the last 2 years, although most of the blame for that could be placed on the team and the departure of Alonso. McLaren and Toyota saw potential in Kovalainen, but Kovalainen signed with McLaren from 2008 to replace Fernando Alonso, who took Kovalaisen's place at Renault. For his McLaren debut in Australia, Kovalainen finished 5th, which seems good, but is less of an achievement considering that his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, won the race. The following race in Malaysia, Kovalainen capitalized on the mistakes of Hamilton and Massa to take a 3rd place finish, his 2nd ever podium. Kovalainen was leading at the Spanish Grand Prix before his tire deflated and he was sent into the wall. Kovalainen qualified the next race in Turkey 2nd, but then dropped down to finish 12th due to a puncture. In Monaco, Kovalainen was forced to start from the pit lane due to software problems with his car, but recovered to finish 8th and scored a point, while his teammate won the race. At the Canadian Grand Prix, Kovalainen was forced to drive carefully to avoid a puncture due to high tire degradation and ended up with a 9th place finish. In France, Kovalainen started 10th due to being penalized in qualifying, but went on to recover to finish 4th. The next race in Britain, Kovalainen got his first ever pole position and was passed by his teammate on the 5th lap. He spun twice to a 5th place finish due to the rain on that day, while his teammate won. He also reported tire degradation problems like in Canada that day. He got another 5th place finish in Germany, while his teammate went on to win again. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, Kovalainen went on to win after Felipe Massa, who was leading, retired due to engine problems. That same week, his seat was confirmed with McLaren for 2009. Next race in Valencia, he finished 4th. In Belgium, Kovalainen qualified 3rd, but lost 8 places at the start, then dropped to 15th after a drive-through penalty. He then worked his way back up to 7th before retiring with gearbox issues. For the Italian Grand Prix, Kovalainen qualified 2nd, behind Sebastian Vettel, but failed to catch Vettel during the race and ended up finishing 2nd due to brake problems. In Singapore, Kovalainen finished 10th due to a collision at the start and having to double stack behind Hamilton. In Japan, he qualified 3rd and was running 3rd before retiring with engine problems. In China, Kovalainen qualified 5th but dropped down to 17th due to a pit stop blunder and then retired with a hydraulics problem. In Brazil, he qualified 5th and went on to finish 7th, while his teammate finished 5th with the last lap pass to win the championship. Overall, Kovalainen's 2008 season was quite a disappointing one, having only 1 win and 4 podiums, with 7th in the championship, to his teammate Lewis Hamilton's 5 wins and 10 podiums to win the championship. The reason for this was the car, instead of being more suited to Hamilton's aggressive driving style as opposed to Kovalainen's more passive one, and Kovalainen having bad luck with reliability and tires along with this. For 2009, Kovalainen stayed with McLaren. Due to the regulation changes that year, McLaren started out on the back foot. For the first 2 races that year, Kovalainen retired from both of them. He then beat his teammate to the first points of the season in China with 5th. Kovalainen then had a few retirements and non-points finishes until the team brought upgrades and points came out of Germany, Hungary, and then a season-best 4th place finish in Valencia. Kovalainen then scored points in the next 3 races in Belgium, Italy, and Singapore before getting 3 non-points finishes to cap off the season. To sum it up, Kovalainen's 2009 season was quite mediocre. He got no wins and no podiums, and 12th in the championship, compared to his teammate Lewis Hamilton's 2 wins and 5 podiums to 5th place in the championship. This performance was not enough for McLaren to keep him, and they dropped him for the 2009 championship Jenson Button for the 2010 season. For 2010, Kovalainen signed to the new Lotus team, one of the 3 new teams entering the series that year, partnering fellow one-time winner Jarno Trulli. The season didn't start off strong for the team, with a lack of downforce in the car and a rush car design, leading to a 21st place start and a 15th place finish for Kovalainen at the first race of the season in Bahrain. Next race in Australia, Kovalainen got his team best 13th place finish. He retired from the next place in Malaysia and got a 14th place finish in China. He didn't start in Spain with gearbox problems and then retired from the Monaco Grand Prix with steering problems and from the Turkish Grand Prix with hydraulic problems. He then finished 16th in the next race in Canada. In Valencia, he was involved in a dramatic crash with the Red Bull Mark Webber, who was lapping him when he misjudged when Kovalainen had to brake and slammed into his back wheel, sending his car flying into the barrier. Kovalainen was able to recover to the pits, but then promptly retired from the race due to obvious causes. The next race in Britain yielded a 17th place finish, and the race after that in Germany yielded a retirement due to a collision with Pedro de la Rosa. He then finished 14th in Hungary, a stark contrast to his win there just 2 years prior, and then retired in Singapore due to a fire, in which he decided to take a fire extinguisher to fight it himself. A season-best 12th place finish at Japan then followed, with a good 13th place finish coming into the race after in Korea. He then capped off the season with a mediocre 17th and 18th place finish in Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Overall, Kovalainen had quite a dismal season in 2010, with no points and a best finish of 12th. However, Kovalainen was the best driver out of the 3 new teams that entered that year, and was even able to battle with the lower midfield teams such as Toro Rosso on occasion. This could provide a good launching point for the team to improve next year. Kovalainen stayed with Lotus for 2011, in which he kicked off the season with a retirement due to a water leak in Australia, and a 15th place finish the next race in Malaysia. Next race in China, he finished 16th. In Turkey, he finished 19th. And next race in Spain, he started pretty good 15th ahead of both Force Indias, but then crashed out during the race. He recorded a 14th place finish in Monaco, and a 19th place finish in Valencia. He had 2 consecutive retirements in Canada and Great Britain. He then got a 16th place finish in Germany, and then retired the next race in Hungary due to a water leak. He finished 15th in Belgium, and got a season-best 13th place finish in Italy. He then had 2 unremarkable races in Singapore and Japan, in which he finished 16th and 18th respectively. He then got 2 good races in Korea and India, in which he got 2 14th place finishes. He then capped off the season with 2 unremarkable races in Abu Dhabi and Brazil, in which he got 17th and 16th. The 2011 season for Kovalainen was worse than his last one, with him dropping 2 places in the Drivers' Championship behind his teammate to 22nd. The Lotus team had gotten closer to the back of the midfield, but didn't have enough speed to catch them, which left them in the weird position of being comfortably ahead of their fellow 2010 entrants HRT and Marussia, but not able to catch the established lower midfield teams of Toro Rosso and Force India. Kovalainen stayed with Lotus, now named Caterham, for the 2012 season. For the 2012 season, he had a new teammate in Vitaly Petrov, replacing the outgoing Jarno Trulli, who had retired. Kovalainen retired from the season-opening Australian Grand Prix before recording his first finish of the season with 18th in Malaysia. He then got his career worst finish the next race at the Chinese Grand Prix, being classified 23rd. The next race, Kovalainen had much more pace, with him progressing to Q2 in qualifying before going on to finish 17th. He then got an unremarkable 16th place finish in Spain, before then getting a season-best 13th place finish in Monaco. After an 18th place finish in Canada, Caterham then had one of their best races of the season in Valencia, in which Kovalainen qualified ahead of both Toro Rosso's and the Red Bull of Mark Webber, and then went on to finish behind his teammate in what was a 14th place finish. A few forgettable races followed, in which Kovalainen finished 17th in Britain, 19th in Germany, 17th in Hungary and Belgium, before having a good 14th place finish in Italy, and then got two 15th place finishes in Singapore and Japan, before two forgettable races in Korea and India, in which he got 17th and 18th respectively. He then tied his season best finish at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with 13th. An 18th place finish followed in the US with a memorable last race in Brazil, saw Kovalainen take 14th while his teammate went on to get a team best 11th, which brought Caterham ahead of Marisha in the Constructors' Championship to 10th. For 2012, the season was probably Kovalainen's worst, with him finishing behind the two Marishas of Timo Glock and Charles Pic and his teammate Vitaly Petrov in the Drivers' Championship with 0 points and a best finish of 13th. This caused the team to drop Kovalainen for 2013, but he remained in a testing role and participated in 3 practice sessions in Bahrain and Spain. He was surprisingly announced as the replacement for Kimi Räikkönen for the last 2 races of 2013 for the other Lotus team. The car had the potential to score a podium, or even a win, as shown that it could do those things earlier in the season. But instead, Kovalainen got 2 14th place finishes to finish off his F1 career. To sum his career all up, Hekki Kovalainen's career was quite a weird one. He started out as a rookie in Renault in 2007, the team that had won the last 2 championships. Of course, he wasn't a championship contender that year, as the car that year wasn't the best, and he was only a rookie. For 2008, Kovalainen probably made the best and worst move of his career to McLaren. That year, they were a championship contender, with his teammate Lewis Hamilton winning the championship. Kovalainen only finished 7th in the Constructors' Championship, and his one win was a lucky one. He stayed with McLaren for 2009, in which they had dropped down the order a little bit to have a bad season. He got no wins or podiums, as opposed to his teammate who got 2 wins that year with not the best car, and then capped off his career with 3 forgettable seasons at Lotus/Caterham. If Kovalainen hadn't moved to McLaren in 2008 and had instead accepted an offer from Toyota, he could have shown his true talent in a team with not as much pressure, and would have probably not been remembered as just one of Hamilton's passive Finnish teammates. Anyways, that caps off the video. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you like the channel, and to join the Discord, and I'll see you next time.